Guys, Nigeria is going to play a friendly game against Russia on June 6th, and I'm here to give you all the latest updates concerning that and also why Nigeria is going to play against Russia. This game will be played on June 6th. I'm here with Chanana. My name is Adam. We are both Ghanaians, and we are here to give our honest opinion on this particular friendly game. Chanana, what do you have to say about the game first before we jump into the squad list and also why Nigeria is playing against Russia?
But Nigeria playing against Russia, are you sure they will not get any sanctions? Because we all know that Russia has been banned from their clubs, whatever, been banned from playing football, especially FIFA matches. So with this, are you sure they will not get, Nigeria will not suffer any serious sanctions for playing against Russia?
So the thing is, they played a friendly game against Zambia.
Yeah.
And they scored Zambia 5-0,
yeah,
but 5-0. Zambia was not punished or sanctioned by the football governing body. So I believe it will still apply to Nigeria. Yeah. So Nigeria in that vein are safe. But let me just read a report. This is coming from Pulse Nigeria, their sports department, explaining how Nigeria would be spared if they played against Russia. Now, they state that Nigeria are not at risk of suspension from the football governing body. Now, the reason they gave was that FIFA have lifted its blanket ban on Russian teams competing international tournament back in October 2024. Now, the governing body announced that Russian youth teams would be allowed to participate in the men's and women's under-17 World Cup tournament, reversing the suspension imposed in February 2022 after Russia's full-scale invasion on Ukraine. So, based on the explanation, Nigeria are safe. They can play this football, but then still they'll face backlash. I'm not going to lie to you. What Russia did to Ukraine, not a lot of people support it. People have divided opinion. So regardless of the fact that Nigeria are going to get suspension or not, still the backlash is going to happen. So this is going to be a very big friendly game.
Yeah.
Yes, and we are going to talk about it. But for the sake of this video, you can call me Ebuka Chanana.
Chinedu in the building.
In the building. So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. And also, please join us in the convo. Let's have a conversation about all this, the squad list, and why Nigeria is playing against Russia. So the big question is, why Russia? Why won't Nigeria play against any other country? Why Russia? So for my research, what I know is Nigeria and Russia go way back in the 1960s, where Russia helped Nigeria in a civil war. That dates way back to the Soviet Union. So there's this kind of relationship between both countries. And ever since Russia were banned from football, they have played against other countries like Zambia, Belarus, those countries.
Those small countries.
Exactly. So this is not a big deal. There's a premeditated relationship between these two. So for me, based on my research, I start to be corrected, but then there is a relationship between Nigeria and Russia. And we have seen Russia in Africa and all of this.
Yeah.
We don't want to enter into the politics, but then for those asking why, this has to be the reason why, based on our opinion from our side, based on the research we have done. But then if you have your own reasons, let us know down below in the comments. But the squad list is out.
Yeah.
Nigeria has released that squad list for the game against Russia. That's quite funny because every official is not joking at all. Chanana, first of all, before we jump into it, just describe the squad list for me in your own terms.
In my own terms, I think he has just omitted one or two players, but the squad is very, very authentic, and this is the Nigerian squad that a lot of fans will want to see. Maybe just about one or two exclusions from the squad, but the rest, everything is on point.
Do you think the omission of Victor Osimhen, Ademola, Lookman is going to affect maybe the results that would come out from this game?
I think somehow, because those people contribute a lot when it comes to goal scoring for Nigeria. But these players also have able players at the front there who can also deliver. So if they tell me that they can't deliver or create chances because Osimhen and Lookman are there, then they don't deserve to play for Nigeria.
So Super Girls of Nigeria, see, Africa is going to support you hardly against Russia. We want to see you. We want to see you do it on the world stage, because this game is not only about football. It has to do with politics too. So the whole world would be watching this particular game. So Nigeria, make us proud. Ghana is supporting you in this particular friendly game. But looking at the squad, it looks like Eric Sepushel is almost having his squad, because you see some names repeating. So let's begin with the goalkeeping department. Now, with the goalkeeping department, 2 goalkeepers were called up for the game against Russia. Yes, Amas Obasogi and also Maduka Okoye. What do you have to say about all this?
I think this is giving me some idea that maybe the game against Ghana, he's going to use Stanley Nwabali and give Maduka Okoye
the chance to play against Russia.
This game, because seeing Stanley Nwabali missing out, I think it's just giving us a clear signal that the game against Ghana, it's highly possible that he's going to go with Stanley Nwabali. And this game, I think Maduka will have his chance to prove his worth in this game.
Oh, okay, so guys, you have heard from Chanana, but let me ask you this. What if he still plays Maduka against Ghana? Let's say the first half, because that game you can make a lot of changes. They could play one set in the first half, change everybody, and bring in another set,
and still make changes again.
So what if Maduka plays both games? Because I believe that he has not seen Maduka like that with the national team. I believe that would be reasons why we would want to have both, like the player play both games. You understand?
For me, I would like to. I'm a Maduka fan.
Yeah,
so I would love to see.
Fan by no people. He's very handsome guy.
I'm a Maduka fan. I would love to see him play. Yeah. But sometimes he has to show that he merits it, because Stanley Nwabali has not
done anything wrong.
Has not been bad at all. So it will be just cruel of Nigeria to just discard him, because Maduka is back. Maduka has to prove that he's still the number 1 and he wants his position back.
Okay, so guys, that's with the goalkeepers, Maduka Okoye and also Amas Obasogi, who plays for Sindiga Black Stars in Tanzania. Now let's go on and talk about the defenders. Now the defenders for the Nigeria-Russia game are different from that of the Ghana-Nigeria game for the Unity Cup. Very different. Now let's go into it. First defender there is Williams Trust Ekon. What do you have to say about this?
Senior man,
yeah, senior man is back.
Senior man is back.
He's not in the other friendly squad, but he's in this one.
I think the game against Zimbabwe that they drew, and I had a bad game a bit. But
did a mistake.
1 or 2. But this game, I'm hoping that the more they keep on playing, the more they keep on regaining their mojo and other things. And even though it's a friendly, the squad list is telling you that they are going in to win. Yeah. So we are expecting them to do that for us.
Yes, the next defender is Ola Aina. He's just back from injury. He played Nottingham Forest last game against West Ham. He played very well in that game. What do you have to say about him being part of the squad?
Ola Aina, you can't imagine a collab without him unless he's injured.
And it's a big game too. So
yeah, since he came back, he played the last 4 games. For that tells that he has picked up a bit. So it's right for the coach to give him a collab, because I think this game the coach wants to go out with a strong 11. That's why you realize the collab. You see that these are the normal names that you always see in the collab. So he wants to go out with a strong 11. So I think Ola Aina has proven his fitness level that he's ready to play. That's why the coach gave him a collab.
So guys, we have already mentioned 2 defenders, William Trustekon and also Ola Aina. These 2 defenders are not part of the Nigerian squad playing against Ghana in the Unity Cup. Now let's talk about a player who is going to play in both. That is Ugo, who plays for Slava Prague. Now this player, we already talked about him extensively in our previous video, saying that he's a very good player, and I would expect him that he'll be part of the squad, not necessarily start, but definitely against Ghana in the Unity Cup. If he impresses, I'm sure the coach would like to, give him that chance.
Because I think the coach has just got 6 defenders. So it's highly possible that he will get his chance to also play in this game too. Yeah. So
okay, so guys, so that's that for Igor Ugbo, who plays for Slava Prague, a very good player by our standard. He's a few players who are playing the Unity Cup and also that against Russia. Now the next player is Bright Osai Samuel, who plays for Fenerbahce. Chanana, talk to me about this player.
Osai Samuel, we all know him playing for Mourinho, for our senior man Mourinho. The last 9 games he has played 6 times. So that tells you that he's doing well. And maybe he's not a regular player on a team sheet every day, but he has shown that he's a team player. When the team calls upon him, he can deliver. So with him, there is always nice to have these players around the squad. But
you know one thing, I think Eric Sepushel really likes Bright Osai Samuel, because the last international break, if you could play Bright Osai Samuel and Ola Aina in the same game, That means the coach still wanted the player in the same way because he could have played another player in that position.
But people were complaining that he should have played Bruno Onyemaechi there and bring Ola. But he played a Tony. So that should tell you that the coach has a very soft spot for Bright Osayi. And since he has played for the club, I've not seen him do a lot of wrong. So I think the coach.
He wasn't bad actually in the game. It was just like the tactics actually did not work. I mean, since you mentioned Bruno Onyemaechi, let's talk about him. He's part of the few players playing in both friendly games, the Unity Cup and then one against Russia. We already talked about him extensively in our previous video. If you have not checked that, please check that. We gave our honest opinion on the squad playing in the Unity Cup. But then, what do you think Bruno Onyemaechi brings into the Nigerian team against Russia? Because he's going to play in both friendlies.
I think you bring variety. Understand? You can use him, like you said, the last time he was left on the bench and came inside. So that tells you that he can come in and change the game or even start and later take him off and other things. It gives you a different option or a different approach to the game. So with a player like this, it's always nice to have him around the squad. So you know he can contribute his quota when the time is right for him.
Alright, so guys, you have heard from Chanana and I agree with him 100% concerning the player. Now let's move on to the last defender, and his name is called Oluwasemilogo Ajayi, who plays for West Bromwich Albion. In our previous video, we gave him a very big question mark because of the number of games he has played for West Bromwich Albion, the fact that he has injuries. That's a problem. And the excuse we were able to give him in our previous video was because of experience and the absence of William Trostekon. Are we still going to give him that excuse here, or do you think it's wrong to call Ajayi to be part of the team?
I think the coach wants to assess him because since, if I'm not lying, since Harry Shekushe came, he has not played for him.
No.
So I think maybe the coach, seeing this as friendly games, wants to assess him to see whether the next time
he can cement his position.
When there's a competitive game, he can give him a call pass. So I think there's nothing wrong with the intention of the coach here.
I think it's one of those few players, they come into the national team, they give you good performances and all those things. So I'm not surprised he's in both, teams playing in the friendly game. So guys, that's it with the defenders, and we have about three defenders playing in 2 friendly games for Nigeria. Now we have William Trostekon Ola Oluwa Aina. Yes, that's his full name, Ola Oluwa Aina. Ugo Ogbo, Bright Osayi Samuel, Bruno Onyemaechi, and Oluwasemilogo Ajayi. These are the defenders called out by Eric Sekusha to play against Russia. Let's talk about the midfielders. Yes, Wilfred Ndidi, one of the players playing in the Unity Cup and also playing against Russia. I'm not surprised. Are you?
Experienced man.
Experienced man.
He has been there for God knows how long. So if with him there, you don't need to give any analysis because you know what it's about.
So you're not even going to talk anything about it. I think he's a very good player. He's going to play.
He has proven it time without numbers that you can rely on him any time, any day. So there's no problem.
Okay, so let's talk about another midfielder who is also going to play in both friendlies, Frank Onyeka. Now, we were all worried when he was not called up in the first one, the international break. But then he was with Osberg playing everything. But this is a very good player that had a very nice loan spell with Osberg. Returned back to Brentford. Do you think this signals the fact that he's cementing his position in every official squad?
Yeah, now he's getting the recognition that he deserves. So it's time for him to prove himself, to show the code that you have not made a mistake calling me, or you have not made a mistake relying on me, because I can deliver and I'm here to always deliver for you. So this is his time to shine. Since it's a friendly, I don't think there will be too much pressure on him. So it's his time to relax and shine.
There's nothing at stake. It's just a bragging right.
So arise and shine.
Now let's move away from that and talk about the third player who is also playing both friendly games, Christian Uche. Yes, this player, we have already talked about him. I'm one of those few Ghanaians that believe that he deserves a shot. Because when you watch the Spanish La Liga and you see him play for that Getafe team, you see there's quality. And I believe Eric Sekusha listened to a lot of people, a lot of pundits who explained to the fact that this player can be an important part of his project. And he's in there. We have already talked about him extensively, unless you want to add something else.
No. For me, I always think that it's easy players like this, you always give them an opportunity because you don't know when the need arises for them to deputize for somebody or for them to do something for you special. So with players like this, it's good to always have them around the squad.
Alright, so guys, you have heard Chanana concerning Christian Uche, who plays for Getafe. The next player is Papa Mustafa Daniels, another player who is also featuring in 2 friendly games for Nigeria in the span from now to June 6th. So, guys, what do you have to say about Papa Mustafa Daniels?
Papa Mustafa recently has not been playing a lot because of his impending transfer to Young Boys.
Young Boys, yeah.
But with him, he has proven that he can be reliable because the last call-up he was in.
But just did not play.
So now that it's a friendly game and some of the senior players are missing, I think he will surely have a cameo or get a full debut to exhibit what he has for the national team. So
I think against Ghana, he might play. In the Unity Cup, I see him play.
Yeah.
But if he does well there,
then
he goes there. Like,
he gets
that's
a lot of minutes.
Yes. So I just believe that with Papa Mustafa Daniels, he just needs to impress in the Unity Cup. Once he can do that, there would be no reason for the coach not to give him an extra 10 or 5 minutes in the game against Russia. I mean, I believe he just needs to impress. That is all. Now let's talk about this big one. Dele Bashiru, who plays for Lazio. Yeah. Now, this player, the last international call-up, he was not part of the squad, but part of the provisional squad. A lot of people complained because we had rumors he was injured, but getting to the game itself, the international break, he was fit.
For me, I think he didn't prove his fitness enough because when you realize it's between that period, you see him today playing, the next day they'll say not in squad. The next day he's playing, you understand? So maybe I think the coach because of the importance of the game to the coach didn't want to risk it. That was why I thought the coach let him out of the squad. But if he's fit, I don't think there's any problem because he's a different when he's telling most of their midfielders. You realize that most of them are defensive midfielders, but when it comes to him, it's that box-to-box type that can guarantee you goals and other things. So I think he brings a different vibe into the midfield. So with a player like this, there is always needed.
So I agree with Shadana in this point. You see, Nigerians midfield is too flat, in my own opinion. You have too many defensive players who always give you safe passes. Now you need a player who can give you creativity in that midfield, and that is Dele Bashiru.
Who can be your Bruno Fernandes?
Yeah, who can be your Bruno Fernandes with that creativity? Well, if you look at his numbers this season with Lazio, you could see this is a player that has goals, has assists. It shows you how creative he is because it's not about the goal scoring, but providing assists for other players to also score. So for me, I think this is a very good inclusion by Eric Sepuchel. Next, let's talk about Rafa Onyedika, who is not part of the Unity Cup squad, but he's part of this one. Played extremely well for Club Brugge, especially in their league and also in the Champions League. What do you have to say about this player?
Another defensive midfielder.
Yeah, another defensive midfielder.
That was what we are saying. Even I think they have 6 midfielders here. I think 4 of them are defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
You understand? So you need someone like that. So with Rafael Onyedika here, this season there,
very aggressive.
I tell you, very, very on form, top form. So sometimes it just pains my heart to see him sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
But senior man, the legendary Freddy.
But I think even if you want to play a double pivot, that would be the best option to go with.
But Eric Sepuchel has his way he approach games a long time. So maybe it will take something for him to start changing his
style.
Yeah,
I get it.
But let's see what he can do. We are hoping for him to succeed for Nigeria because this is one of Nigeria's golden generation. So he has to be able to achieve something with this player. Otherwise, if this one passes, my brother,
it would be very sad.
It will be very sad.
Now let's move away from that. Before we move away from that, let me just go through the midfielders once more. Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka, Christentus Uche, Papa Mustafa Daniels, Fishayo Dele Bashiru, and also Rafa Onyedika. Now let's talk about the forwards. Samuel Chukwueze, part of the squads for both friendlies. What do you have to say about him? You already talked about him.
He's played the national. I think he's more than 7-8 years old. So people
the experience and everything. He's part of the core
team. You just don't make too much analysis about them because his capabilities and his qualities are there for everyone to see.
All right. So let's move on and talk about Moses Simon. Same thing. He also plays in both friendly games for Nigeria, the Unity Cup and that of against Russia.
But this is, let's be frank, Moses Simon has an amazing season.
With 90s.
His goals and assists are just crazy, I tell you.
Goal contribution in double figures.
Yes, that's because of his age and other stuff.
Yeah.
You expect him to be declining, but I tell you, this he has proven that Charlie Oluman Buge.
The thing is, even in the last international break, when Nigeria was playing, he really performed well.
He did well. Yeah,
I mean, he performed extremely well.
Some of the performance went unnoticed because of the heartbreak and all that stuff. Those who did well, we didn't care about them because we were all heartbroken because Nigeria couldn't win that game.
So guys, let's move away from that and talk about Kelechi Iheanacho, who plays for Middlesbrough on loan. His loan has actually ended. He's going back to Sevilla. He did not really perform as expected. His loan spell was not successful, in my own opinion. But I know a lot of people have question marks concerning his inclusion to the squad, especially for both friendlies. Do you think the coach wants to give him, let's say, a second chance for you to impress me? Because you all know it did not go well. Do you think that is the case?
Yeah, you see that some of these players like this, like Kelechi Iheanacho, has never played for chelle before. So I think because of it's a friendly game, the coach is trying to give them, because these players, they have done it for the national team. It's part of their last AFCON winning national team, and they have achieved something for the national team. So the coach just don't want to come and just take them out of the team like that. So it's good to give them a chance to prove themselves, and we'll see what happens.
So guys, let me know what you think about Kelechi Iheanacho, senior man, being part of the squad. Let us know if you agree with it or not. Now let's talk about Nathan Tella, who is also playing both friendly games. I don't want to talk too much about this player. His performance with Bayer Leverkusen, excellent too. And he was not part of Eric Sapichel's first 2 games because of an injury. I believe this is an opportunity for Eric Sapichel to assess the player, see how he can play and help Nigeria, because see, the World Cup itself is not done for Nigeria. South Africa might think it's all done and dusted, but see, Nigeria can do a comeback. I still believe that. So with Nathan Tella, I believe he's a very good inclusion to the squad. Victor Boniface, he's not part of the Unity Cup, and I'm very pissed. He should have been part, but he's part of the game against Russia. What do you have to say about this?
Boniface, I'll not lie about it. The second phase of the season has not been favorable to Boniface at all. He has been, most of the time, he has been sitting on a bench for Bayer Leverkusen because of injuries and the emergence in form of Patrick Schick. You understand? But he's a proven player for Nigeria. You can't just take him out just like that. So with him, no, it's not a bad player. He's just having a bad time because of injuries and all that stuff. So if he's able to stay fit for a longer period of time, you expect him to come back to the Victor Boniface that we used to know. So for him, there's no much to be said about it. His capabilities is there for everyone to see. We are just hoping that he's going to prove his mantle for Nigeria this time.
Alright, so Victor Boniface, with the absence of osimhen and ademola lookman, trust me, he's going to play this game. Now let's move away from that and talk about Tolu Arukudari. This player is on red hot form and also playing in both friendly games. We don't want to talk too much. We talked about him extensively in the previous video. So for me, I believe he's a good addition. Looking at the form in the season he's having this season, I mean, he's good to go. I think Eric Sapichel is giving him the opportunity to also show what he can do. Yes. But then the last player I want us to talk about when it comes to forward is Sadiq Umar, who went on loan at Valencia, did extremely well. Definitely his loan is going to end. He's going to return back to Real Sociedad. What do you have to say about his inclusion? Do you think it's a direct replacement for Victor Osimhen?
I don't think it's a guy, because his game style is far different from what Victor Osimhen brings to the game. He's that your target man type, you understand? But you see, Victor Osimhen can do both, can be your target man at the same time be your ball playing center forward and all that stuff. So I see Sadiq Umar has a different approach to the game.
Okay, so guys, let us know what you think about the forwards. I'm going to go through it once more. Samuel Chukwueze, Moses Simon, Kelechi Iheanacho, Nathan Tella, Victor Boniface, Tolu Arukudari, and Sadiq Umar. These are the squad. 21 players called by Eric Sapichel to feature for Nigeria in the friendly game against Russia. Do you think Nigeria is going to win?
They have to win, because for me, this squad, these players have played together for a long time.
They have the core team is still there. It's just left with Ademola and osimhen.
So I don't think and Russia too, we know that they have not played competitive football for a long time. They just started playing, I think, October last year or so. So Nigeria don't have an excuse to allow Russia to beat them. Even though the game will be played in Moscow, they have to win this game.
So guys, this is it for us here in Ghana. My name is Adam. As I said, we are just giving our honest opinion on the squad list that has been released by the NFF and also by Eric Sapichel. So let us know what you think about all this down below in the comments. This is where we are going to end it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. We'll make sure to see you in the next one. Charlie, we go bye.
We go bye.